ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Reagan Wheeler. I'm going to be doing, of course, my YouTube channel, Reagan Wheeler. Okay, so please subscribe to it. If I just want 20 subscribers, and if I get that, I'm going to do a complete Minecraft video. I'm going to be doing a whole game, building at least 6 worlds, or houses, and showing you how I do it, because I know everything. I can make vending machines, to armor and stores and all that. Distributes your armor. Okay, but today I'm going to be reading the book Treasure Hunters in Trouble. It's an unofficial Minecraft Gamers Edition book, and it's an adventure, of course. It's by Winter Morgan, and it's about Alex and Steve and all them, and they're trapped in a desert. Okay, so I'm going to be reading Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, so I hope you enjoy. And again, it's Treasure Hunters in Trouble, and I'm going to be reading Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And of course, it's by Winter Morgan. Okay. Chapter 1. Lost Friends. Steve was trudging to his wheat farm when he heard his dog, Rufus, barking in the distance. He looked up to see 2 people approaching. "Who are you?" Steve asked as he walked up to them. Rufus stood by his side as his Ocelot, Snuggles, and Jasmine sat by the entrance of his home. At first, the 2 people didn't say anything to Steve. They just looked at the house and talked to each other. "Are you Steve?" the one asked. "Yes. Who are you?" "Oh, God. We found the right place. We weren't certain we would. It's been a crazy trip here." We went inside. "You haven't told me who you are." Steve was getting annoyed. "I'm sorry. I'm Alex and this is Will, but that's not important. I'm here to tell you that your friends are in trouble," Alex told him. She was a blonde man wearing a green shirt. "What? Who? How?" Steve let it out, because this news bothered him greatly. "I met your friend Kyra. She was trying to help her friends, who were trapped by a griefer. He had them trapped in the desert temple, but she was able to escape," said Alex. "Are they okay? Where are you? Where were you?" "We met Kyra in the desert. We were starving and she gave us food. Kyra asked us to find you in return for the food. She didn't want to leave your friends Henry, Max, and Lucy, but she needed your help," explained Will, who wore a red helmet. Steve paused. He wondered if Alex and Will were telling the truth. They could be griefers who had trapped his friends and were now here to steal from him. "You traveled all the way from the desert to rely Kyra's message." This seemed like a huge favor to ask of somebody. Alex looked down as though she were embarrassed when she told Steve. "Kyra also promised to share some of the treasure with us." "That makes sense," Stephen reasoned. "The temple is full of treasure," asked Will. "I'm worried about Kyra. I don't care about the treasure." Steve was upset. "She has a tough job, but at least she can keep the hostile mobs more easily in the desert, or see the hostile, because it's flat," explained Alex. Steve knew that was true, and he also knew Kyra was smart and was able to know the griefers, but she was the only person. Even if she saw the hostile mobs that were about to attack her, didn't mean she'd win. He had to help her. Steve went into the house and put on his armor. He opened a chest and took out a diamond sword. He was ready to help Kyra save Henry, Max, and Lucy. He checked through his inventory to see if he had all the supplies he needed. The journey to the desert biome was a long and dangerous trip. Alex and Will were in his living room waiting for Steve, eating apples to increase their food bars. "Do you have a map?" asked Steve. "You don't need a map. We know the way," and we promised Kyra that we'd take you to her," replied Alex. "But our inventories are almost empty," announced Will. "What do we need? We have lots of emeralds. Is there a village nearby? We can trade them and get supplies," suggested Alex. "Yes, but we don't have time. I'm worried about my friends. We need to hurry and save them. If we aren't prepared, we won't be able to save anyone," Alex lectured Steve. Steve tried not to laugh. This sounded like something he would say. He had to agree with Alex, but they needed to get back prepared. The trio walked toward the village to Elliot the blacksmith shop. He had all the supplies they needed to craft powerful swords and protective armor to battle these tricky griefers. Elliot was surprised to see his friends, Steve and Steve's two new friends. Who can I help you? What can I help you with? Elliot, this is Alex and Will. We were about to go into the desert. A griefer has trapped Henry, Max, and Lucy. Kyra is there trying to help them, but she can't do it alone. Oh no, Elliot was upset. Tell me what you need. Alex and Will traded emeralds. When they were done, they rushed back to Steve's wheat farm and crafted all the items they need to battle the many hostile mobs, but night was falling. Steve walked outside. He was ready to start the trip, but he didn't want to waste any more time. Alex called after him. We can't start our journey at night. We'd be killed within seconds. Look behind you, shouted Will. Clank, clank. Two skeletons walked toward him. One shot an arrow at Steve, but it didn't graze his skin. With his armor on, he felt confident he'd win, and as he lunged toward the skeleton with his sword and destroyed it. The other skeleton was harder to battle. As it struck the white bony creature, he found he couldn't destroy it, shooting arrows at him nonstop. Will and Alex sprinted from the house and shot arrows at the skeleton until they destroyed it, and it dropped arrows. We can use these skeleton bones for bone meal, Alex said as he placed them in her inventory. See, it's too dangerous at night, insisted Will. Steve knew they were right, but he couldn't sleep when he knew his friends were in trouble. I hope Kyra is okay, Steve told them as they walked into his house. Once they were in their beds, they'd be safe from hostile mobs. A spider! Alex screamed. Its creepy red eyes glowed as it crawled across Steve's living room floor. Steve struck the insect with its diamond sword. The spider's eye dropped out. We can use these to brew potions. Steve took the eyes as Alex picked up the string from the spider. Let's get into bed. Will was nervous. There are too many hostile mobs. As they made their way to their beds, Steve thought about Kyra. He hoped she'd be okay. He climbed into the bed, but then he heard a familiar voice coming from outside the room. Steve, are you home? The voice called out. Steve jumped out of bed and sprinted across the living room. Kyra, Steve saw his friend. I thought you were in the desert. I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video. This was chapter 1. I'm sorry I said chapter 1 and 2, but that will be another video. Okay, so again, that was Treasure Hunters in Trouble. And of course, it's an unofficial Minecrafters novel, and it's just the basics of it for that one. But my next video is going to be about chapter 2, and I hope you enjoyed it, and bye.